Could you sort of walk them through a few of the steps in the actual agreement and maybe some important things to consider before they get everything written up legally? Because I'm imagining this isn't just something that you put down on the back of an envelope. This is a proper legal document.
Yeah, certainly. It's something you've always got to go and have a chat to somebody who's a specialist in a specialist solicitor. But even before you get to that stage, there's some key things you should consider. So what somebody's role would be in that joint venture, because you've got really four components to it. You've got the time component. You've got and that's sort of somebody using their time. You've got the money, so somebody sort of needs to sort of fund if it's whether it be a development or renovation, whatever it is. You've got the borrowing capacity, so that's sort of the person who's going to be liable, or people who will be liable for the loan. And then you've got the knowledge as well. So if somebody who's a developer themselves, they understand that particular market. So that's probably the first thing you'd want to consider, what your skill set is. And then you've really got to understand, you wouldn't just jump into bed with somebody on the first date. I mean, that's a bit of a crass saying, but you'd want to sort of go on that journey with a person, understand that person's background, who their personality as well. If you get into I probably wouldn't get into a joint venture with my parents, for example, because we'd potentially see out. I mean, we just have our personalities would clash, but also the past record as well. So they're the things that you want to be having these conversations with these people, and also understanding the goals of what you want to get out of the joint venture. Because if you don't understand that, that's really a recipe for disaster. Because I've seen, and I've even when I was a broker previously in a previous life, people would come to me and say, I want to buy a property with my brother or sister. And the first question I ask them is, well, what do you want to achieve with that? Because if you don't know that in 5 years' time or 2 years' time, whatever it is, the person wants to sell it or they want to buy a property, but they now can't because they're involved in another transaction. So those are the kind of things, like almost starting with the end in mind.
If you want to listen to the rest of that interview, simply subscribe to the Pizza and Property Podcast on Google Play, iTunes, or Spotify, anywhere you can find us. And make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel below, and have an amazing week.